Hi, my name is Mark and I teach economics. In this video, we're going to look at the 5 shifters of the supply curve. And the purpose of this is to be able to shift the supply curve in conjunction with the demand curve. So you'll be able to shift these things simultaneously. And read my lips, this is fair game for any quiz you might have, high school or college economics. You're going to be probably asked what are the 5 shifters, or at least you're going to need to know how to use them. And at the end of this video, I'm going to show you a trick on how to remember these shifters of the supply curve. You're going to lock it into your brain. Oh, one last thing. As a bonus, I'm going to tell you a personal confession of mine on this video. So stay tuned. Thank you very much. Let's take a look at the 5 shifters of the supply curve. The first, prices of inputs. Second, technological changes. Third, prices of related good in production. Fourth, number of firms in the market. And fifth, expected future prices. Now, when you're sitting on an exam and you're thinking, how do I look at this? I always say, think of yourself as a factory owner or you're a provider of services. And this will help clarify it. And I like to give the hint also that if you take something that you personally do, your job or your work, or perhaps your parents do, something that you actually know intimately, then you'll be able to articulate better, convey better what these shifters are, just thinking in the context of what you're actually working with or working know. So here's my confession. I've driven Uber and Lyft. Okay, I know. Why should I drive Uber and Lyft? There's a huge opportunity cost of time. If I'm driving Uber or Lyft, then I can't be making money in other ways, which definitely could pay me higher. But, there's a little bit of a convenience factor. Sometimes, I don't do it as a profession. I just do it once in a while, a little bit for fun. We went out to Montreal for a road trip, summer vacation, and I don't like to tap into my current savings or cash flow because I'm pretty much of a cheapskate. So I said, okay, I'll Uber for a week or two on nights and weekends and to earn some cash. Because the reality is, even though the opportunity cost is very high for me to drive Uber, I could be working on my programs, I could be doing other things, consulting. You don't get paid in opportunity cost. You get paid in cash. So I've done it a couple times here or there, and you can see right here, I've got pretty good ratings. I've got nice comments. I pull up, somebody like me pulls up, they see a geek, their blood pressure goes down, and in St. Augustine, it's kind of a tourist town, and there are some opportunities. Again, I don't recommend it. I don't do it very often. It's just a once in a while, if I'm going out for ice cream, I can click it on and pay for the ice cream. And here's my car. Pull up in this thing. Yeah. So when people see me pull up in this thing, what else can they think? To quote the Matrix, fasten your seatbelts, Dorothy, because Kansas is going bye-bye. So let's get back to economics, and let's look at the input prices. When input prices fall, the supply curve shifts to the right. For example, the cost of gas falls. There's going to be more Uber drivers providing Uber services. If gas is $3 a gallon, I'm not going to be driving Uber. If it clicks pretty close to $2, maybe I'll be motivated once in a while to click on Lyft or Uber app. I'm working in my office, I get a ping, and I'm going, or you can put it directionally. If I'm going up to or going to Orlando anyway, I put it on. Maybe I'll get an airport ride out there. It's $100. So I make this decision, cost-benefit decision, based on the price of gas. Gas is a major input into driving Uber, and you want to be able to, calculate, is it really worth it to me? Again, generally, I think it's not a worthwhile, job, and it's not very profitable, but for short-term cash, it's okay. Second thing is technological improvements. When technology improves, then you have more, let's say, Uber drivers. If there are electric self-driving cars, they can just crank these out, mass produce it. Similarly, if you drive Lyft and Uber, you know that there's an app that you can download, and you'll be able to do these things simultaneously. So if you get pinged for Lyft, it automatically clicks off your Uber app. So you're not fumbling with it, and allows you to do 2 for 1. It provides more services, shifts the demand curve to the left. This is an example of technology. Now, You could go into examples of technology shifts to the left. but that's not what it's usually when something happens, a disaster, or let's say you go to Amish land, less Uber drivers. And prices of related goods in production. Okay, and a perfect example is Uber and Lyft are perfect substitutes or near perfect substitutes. I think just personal opinion. I've had less sketchy experiences with Lyft, but I think they're all pretty good. And these are examples of two substitutes. You have a good substitute, the price of one affects the other. For example, if Uber's payout is less to the drivers, more people are going to be driving Lyft. And so it's a shift to the right. Now, compliments. It's very hard to think of a compliment for Uber. I mean, classic example of a compliment is a hamburger and a hamburger bun. But what is it for Uber? You might say that it's Airbnb. When there are a lot of providers of Airbnb, or there's some discount in St. Augustine and everybody's doing Airbnb now as a way to make income, then there's obviously more people come onto the market, more demand. It works something like that. Number of firms, more firms, more supply, shifts it to the right. It used to be that a year ago or 2 years ago, you'd be the only Uber driver on Saturday night. You could just rake in the cash. But the truth is, you click it on. I just can't believe how many people are doing this, almost like as a profession, as a full-time job, which I highly don't recommend. I should do a video just on that. But there's just Uber drivers everywhere, Lyft drivers everywhere, a lot of competition. But this means there's a shift. You can get probably a cheaper ride if you're a passenger, and more, definitely cheaper in terms of opportunity cost because your wait time is less. Expectations. It relates to economic incentives. So if I know that Lyft is going to cut the payout in percentage-wise, or Uber is going to cut it percentage-wise in a month or two, and I just need this short-term cash, because that's all these things are good for, then maybe I'll do a little bit more now, make $1,000, and then bank it. And when the cut goes down for the drivers, then you're not going to do it as much. So these are the 5 examples, or the 5 reasons the supply curve shifts. And as I promised, I give you a memory trick. And it goes inputs, technology, related goods, number of firms, and expectations. So you can do it any way you want. You can jumble these around. I put ITRFE, and I said in technology regions, expect a number of firms. So there's a picture, obviously, of San Francisco, beautiful trolleys. And you can just remember, in technology regions, expect a number of firms. There's a lot of firms, IT firms, I think like Google's out there, Adobe software, I think like even Uber's out there. So this is a mnemonic. It's a trick. You're under pressure. You just pull that out. I gave you one for demand curve. I recommend you look at that. And you have this. You just pull it out. You'll be able to remember it a lot easier. Again, the trick is to remember it and then to use it. But first you have to remember it. Because if you can't remember it, you can't use it. And you won't be able to do it fluently in a pressure situation. So this is the lesson. It teaches supply and demand, and you can now use supply curve in terms of shifting it. And the main thing here is know the difference between a shift and a moving along. When you're shifting the supply curve, we're not talking about price changes. We're just talking about a shift. Shift for exogenous reasons, exogenous variables outside the system of price, simply price. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, enjoy, and thank you very much.